Which life path should you choose in Cyberpunk 2077? I am going to be explaining what each life path is, what you're going to be able to do, especially start off with, and then we are going to dive a little bit more deeper on what you'll be experiencing in the whole game if you choose this certain life path. So without further ado, let's get started. I am Jerry Rincon, the host. Welcome to 003 Gaming, and with all that said, let's get the ball rolling. Okay, so what I want to say first is I want to explain the three life paths that you are going to be able to choose in Cyberpunk 2077. So if y'all didn't know, just as I comment, I got the sticker on my computer about Cyberpunk 2077 because I haven't even played the game yet, but you know what? I'm going to be a huge fan of this game. The game is going to be split into three sections, which are the life paths, alright? So if you get bored of playing one life path, you could just start a new one all over again. Yeah, this game is gonna have so many scenarios. Remember, even though you decide one, you can always change it or finish that one and do another one if that's what you wish. So these are going to be the three life paths that you're gonna be choosing as an option. You could either choose corporate, nomad, or Streetkid. We are going to be going through all of these and diving into them, alright? But before we do that, I'm gonna give you a little summarization of what it says here on Night City. It says exactly, when it comes to character creation in Cyberpunk 2077, even a cosmetic detail would carry some significance in the main story. So don't rush in thinking that the choice of life path for your characters is minor. Your character's past will define your gaming experience. Like for example, when you start, who do you know, who knows you, and many life path unique choices for every major quest you will encounter. So this is a very serious decision, alright? So I hope you all have the decision the day before you start playing the game, because that's that exact time when you start the game, you have to choose which life path you want. Because if you didn't know, but when the game comes out, which I'm so excited for, but when the game comes out, I'm going to be filming everything that I'm going to be doing in the game, or at least a good percentage of it. One of the first videos when I'm playing the game is going to be which life path I choose. Actually, I'm thinking of making a pre-video thinking about which life path I should choose. But y'all should comment below what you think would be a good life path choice for me. Give me ideas, alright? So with all that said, let me help you guys make your decision, alright? So just like I said earlier, your character's paths will define your gaming experience, alright? So if you choose, let's just say you choose Nomad, you will know all the people outside the city, right? Because you're starting in the desert, in the Badlands. So like I said, there's either corporate, nomad, or street kid, right? So something else that I would like to say about the three options, as it says here, is yes, indeed, your life path will determine your starting quest, people's reactions to you, your dialogue choices throughout the game, and even how some of your friendships and romantic relationships will develop, alright? That's what the creators of Cyberpunk 2077 are saying too, alright? You would even be set for completing the main story in a certain way. If you didn't know, but when you choose a path, it's like saying they would have your plan of how you would finish the game, exactly, alright? You will even be set for completing the main story in a certain way, although you can switch your alliances at any moment. So you could switch your alliances at any moment. Keep that in mind. So now I'm gonna be kind of explaining a decision idea that you should make, because I'm going to be explaining to you what to know and what you are in for, alright? So I'm going to be summarizing every life path to be specific, alright? So let's start with Nomad. So as we all know right off the bat, in Nomad, you are going to be able to start in the outside lands, right? In the Badlands. It's like saying starting in Sandy Shores in GTA 5 because it's going to kind of look like that, but maybe a little bit more bigger, maybe smaller. Who knows? But I think it's going to be a little bit more bigger than Sandy Shores, I'm assuming. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, okay? But whichever life path you choose, you're going to definitely start in a different scenario, a different location. So for Nomad, life on the road wasn't easy. So your pre-life, before you play this game, is your life wasn't easy because you were looting scrapyard yards, railing fuel depots. So you were doing all kinds of stuff you were like collecting trash, scraping stuff, you were maybe even fixing cars. Life on the road wasn't easy, just how it says as a nomad. But growing up in Nomad, plan has its perks. So every life path decision is gonna have their pros and their cons, right? So Nomad V comes from outside the Night City walls, just how I said. There are no speed limits in the wasteland, so you could drive as fast as you can without getting stopped by the Kobo cops, if y'all didn't know. Survival and values here are dictated by the tight bonds formed within the local tribes, whose members are freely choose to become part of such a family. Freedom has always been the important part of life in a balance. So you have all the freedom to nearly do whatever you want since you know the people. Like if you go as a corporate to the balance, maybe you may be careful where you go exactly because the people may think you're somebody bad that wants to do like bad stuff. Because remember, Cyberpunk 2077 is also mainly about games, alright? I'm gonna be making a video about all the games in the next videos. That's why you should hit the subscribe button right now. If you want, just pause the video and subscribe, right? I promise you won't regret it. So anyways, Nomad V grew up in one of the local tribes, but something has changed. Perhaps it is time to find a new beginning inside the walls of chaotic Night City after all. So to be honest, I will compare this life path to maybe Trevor, but of course in GTA 5 you didn't choose a life path. You just had 3 characters, but this was different. You choose one completely different person and life path, right? Remember, you customize your character. But yeah, so it's like saying you lived outside Cyberpunk 2077 Night City. You lived outside, you were maybe, you know, the people there, you were digging scrapyards, doing all that interesting stuff. That you also fix up junk old cars to improve them or just fix whatever their problem was. Okay, so Nomad V will enter the game with unique experiences and knowledge of games, cars, and equipment. So you would have the knowledge of games, cars, and equipment. After all, Nomad V comes from a place that has both distant and overwhelmingly prominent relationship with Night City Security League. So they have this kind of prominent relationship. That's kind of interesting. You are immediately familiar with the ways of working around the city's demands and bypassing the influence. So you pretty much know everything about the city. So it's kind of a good one to start with, actually. I mean, they're hard to choose, so I'm just explaining to give you guys a better decision, how I said. Of course, whether to maintain the old affiliates and values will be up to you. So you'll choose how you want to work outside Badlands and all that. So that is a little good summary about Badlands. So if you're interested in starting off in the desert, growing up in the desert outside in the Night City, if that's your option that you like to have as an imaginary life in this game, well then I suggest you shoot for Nomad. So yeah, you did so much stuff, alright, as a Nomad, okay? So it's kind of like, yeah, so that's one of the options, alright? But what excites me the most is that there's no speed limits. It's almost like freedom outside Night City. It's like, whoa. But remember, you will know all the games. You will know how Night City works if you're in the Badlands. You will be immediately familiar with the city demands and bypassing, alright? So you will have a good amount of knowledge of so many stuff if you choose this life path, okay? But what I really don't like is I'm not sure if they'll let you into Night City right away when you start Cyberpunk 2077 as a Nomad. That's the only thing that's kind of confusing. So with all that summary explained about Nomad, I hope that gives you guys a better grasp about how Nomad works, alright? Okay, so another pro about Nomads is that Nomads have the ability to analyze how a game has pulled off a heist, giving them a huge advantage over other characters in the game. So that's a huge advantage about a Nomad, okay? That you would have all that skill and information. Alright, so finally with all that said about Nomad, let's go ahead and start with Streetkid. So right off the bat, what I could say about Streetkid is that you would know all the sort of Night City people would trust you a little bit more in as a Night City because you grew up there, you were roaming the streets, you were making living off of Night City growing up there, so you know how stuff work in Night City as a street kid if you didn't know. But yeah, so they say if you want to understand the streets, you gotta live in them. Gongs, fixers, dolls, small-time pushers, you were raised by them all. Down here, the law of the jungle detects the weak, serve the strong. The only law Night City you have yet to break. So just like I said, you will know almost everything about Night City if you're a street kid. You will know so much things about Night City if you are a street kid. So I kind of like this one a lot. It's hard to choose which ones, alright? So as a street kid, V grew up in the Haywood learning how to survive the streets and dependent on some people as they are a family. Some people might know you, who knows where's from. Gangs, fixers, mysterious strangers. It also makes sense if it's police. So you would have a good advantage with the police if you choose this one, to be honest. Majorly of your life was spent avoiding their prying gazes. Not always successfully, but again, that was your relationship with all Night City corpers and their people. Just avoid them until you no longer can. So a good amount of people will know you in Night City if you choose this path they will all know you pretty much. You will know the streets. You grew up here, right? It's like saying growing up in a big city condo. So avoiding people in higher positions does come with its costs. But Streetkid V will be armed with the interior's knowledge of the street. And illegal drugs and black market charges will not surprise you. Whoa, so it's gonna be kind of dark in this life path. Streetkid V is the ultimate insider. You know how to fight the merciless social hierarchy of the Night City. You made it this far after all. Interesting. As a street kid, you will start in Haywood District. Keep this in mind, you will start in Haywood District, alright? With a unique quest, the Street Kid. I mean, man, I wonder all the fun stuff you could do in Night City. It's like hard on which one to choose. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, so if you like Night City a lot, if you wish you were grown up in Night City in this life scenario, and if you wish to have all the benefits that I was kind of explaining right now, knowing a lot of people, having the cops know you, a lot of those interesting stuff, well then I suggest you pick the street kid. So a sad disadvantage about being a street kid is that a street kid comes from low class families and all the struggles which that entails. So you are kind of in the lower class as a street kid, but the advantage about that is that your background doesn't define your story with enough talent and ambition. So you would have a lot of talent and ambition as a street kid. That's one of the pros, right? A street kid can use his or her life skills and attributes for greater things than living in a squalor. So who knows, maybe as a street kid you will little by little start making wealth in Cyberpunk 2077. Who knows, right? So what will the prologues be as a nomad and a street kid? Well, like I said, the prologue is like how you grew up, alright? The prologue is also like what the first mission is gonna be. So I'm thinking that for nomad you're gonna start in the Badlands, and for street kid you're gonna start somewhere in the city as the prologue, right? So like I said, if you're that kind of person that wants to know the streets and all that, well then I suggest you pick Street Kid, alright? So with all that said, we're going to head on with the final one. So the final one is corporate. So we're gonna be explaining corporate. So a good summary about corporate is that corporate is like business. You're gonna know all the people in business. Actually, to be honest, this is kind of one of my favorite ones. So how about I dive deeper into corporate, yeah? Let's start with the summary. It says here, a few leave the corporate world with their loves. Few are still with their souls intact. You've been there, you bent the rules, exploited the secrets, and weaponized the information. So I have a lot of business skills. This is actually one of my favorite ones, but I'm still not sure exactly what my favorite one is yet. There's no such thing as a fair game. There's only winners and losers. This goes for corporate especially, and I think this also goes for Nomad and Street Kid. So Arkansas hungrily fights the crown of Night City. Central locations and ports already belong to the mega corporations, if you didn't know. And you have always been part of all that. So you had always been part of the mega corporations and all that. So let's just say, as I say, you growing up with a very wealthy parents that have huge companies. Let's just put it like that, okay? So you are fighting unforgiving battles within its headquarters to climb the corporate ladder. You are trusted with most sensitive counter intel jobs. At this time, Arkansas' stability depends on you. But what happens when the cold-blooded system turns against its best people? Where do you go when the most powerful organization in Night City knows everything about you? These are only some of the many questions you would have to figure out once everything you have known in your life path falls apart. Alright? So it's mainly the you gotta be strong in business skills in Cyberpunk 2077. Not that you got no real life business skills, but you're gonna learn little by little in Cyberpunk, the way Cyberpunk works, alright? So I'm thinking the prologue is we kind of in a mega corporation. But let's find out more and read more, yeah? Alright, so if Arkansas is one of the villains of Cyberpunk 2077 story, then you could confidently say that you have locked the dragon in its mouth. Interesting. You know the most powerful people in the city, leaders of the corporation with influence that spreads way beyond the Night City. You easily read between the lines. You know the system of mass inside out. You kept a straight face in front of most of the intimidating people. Interesting. So you like already went through all the stuff. Someone might think that someone of your kind has no chances of survival inside the Arkansas sheltering headquarters. So if you all didn't know, but a lot of people are gonna think that because you grew up with money, you knew about corporate stuff and all that. This is actually one of my favorites, to be honest. Since I like entrepreneuring in real life, who knows? But you beg to differ. As corporate, you will start in city center district with a unique quest, the Corporal Rats. So you would start in city center district, so it's mainly all the luxury stuff. So it is like saying growing up with a lot of privileges already right off the bat at the beginning of the game. That's a huge pro that I love about Corporal. So if you're the kind of business person that you want to be in the game, if you want to kind of like be that person that grew up in the headquarters, you hardly ever were in Night City because you were in the most luxury and nicest places. You know the business people, the main bosses. Well, then I suggest you go for corporates. All right, I'm still making a decision. It's hard because I like corporate and at the same time I like Streetkid, so I can know all the streets. But then at the same time, Badlands is kind of interesting. So it's kind of like, which one should I choose, huh? Who knows, maybe I'll just end up doing all three at the end, splitting them, I don't know. But yeah, so during the prologue of corporate, it says according here that V starts off as up and coming employee working in the counterintelligence division of Arkansas. So you are working already in an intelligence company as a corporate. That's very interesting. They work under Arthur Jenkins, who converts a promotion recently given to his rival Susan Abernathy. So you start off doing that already as a, but I'm not sure. Let's say you pick Streetkid. Eventually, do you end up making your way up to corporate? It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of confusing. So I still don't know which one to choose yet. But that's all the information it seems like there is. So as y'all could see in everything that I'm saying, each life pad will offer its own district pros for the players to take into account. Ultimately, the path that fits you best all comes down to the player performance. So somebody says in Shack News that they think they're going to start with corporal role just because they think it would be cool to see how the elite of the city work and experience things from the point of view. Either way, these life paths should offer players plenty of replayability in what already appears to be shaping up the massive RPG. So just one other interesting thing I want to tell you guys, I said this in my other few videos, but the currency for Cyberpunk 2077 is to be eddies, alright? You gotta have a lot of eddies to have luxury, just remember that, okay? So comment below, which one would you choose? Now that I kind of got a little bit more grasp of information, remember, nobody knows everything, not even me yet, because no one has even played the game yet, just the developers that made it, but they're giving good hints like this. So now we know so much interesting stuff about this game. I can't wait for it to come out, but I'm gonna be doing so many cool videos that I don't want you guys missing out on. That's why I suggest you smash that subscribe button, so when I start making videos about the game, you already know, right? You guys already know me. I'm Jericho, the video host, and all that cool stuff, right? So yeah, with all that said, just remember I'm gonna be making tons of cool videos about Cyberpunk even before the game comes out, okay? At least 3 to 4 more. To be honest, I'm gonna kind of make this channel one of my personal choices in Cyberpunk 2077, okay? I'm gonna make a video customizing my character, touring Night City, so much cool things that you guys missing out on, alright? So I can wait for all these videos, and I hope y'all can wait neither, right? But all you have to do right now, subscribe, because I'm gonna be posting more cool videos before the game even comes out, and especially after, man. I'm even planning on doing mods in Cyberpunk 2077 in a few years. If they do that, who knows, maybe they'll be doing mods. I don't know, my goal is to hit 10k subscribers, so let's get to that. I promise you all will not regret subscribing to this channel. But with all that said, I think I'm gonna sign off here, okay? I will see you all in my next video. I hope you all have a good day or night, whatever time you're seeing this video at. Peace, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video.